Oh, my Buntag, and welcome to another exciting episode of My Filipino Adventure. I'm going to be your host. I'm Michael. Ina's at work, and I'm just sitting around being lazy. I should be working. But it's been a while since I gave you guys a video, and I would like to update our property in Niagros. If you're a follower of the channel, you know that we bought a little 300 square meter property in Ina's hometown of Dog, which is Hinobaan, which is about 3 hours from Dumaguete up the west coast. And we weren't sure what to do with it exactly because I didn't really want to live there. We were helping out her brother who needed some money, and he owned this piece of property. So instead of just giving him a bunch of money, I said, well, let's buy that piece of property from you and we'll do something with it down the road. So you know what, stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll talk about our ideas for the property. But first off, if you had watched the video of our property, our piece of property butts up to the Barangay Hall. And after that, it's the ocean. So it's really almost on the ocean. It's not a bad piece of property. And it's probably on the busiest street in her barangay because it's a short street from the National Highway. I think there's only 3 pieces of property, 3 houses, until you get to Barangay Hall, and then you're on the ocean. Because everyone has to come to the Barangay Hall, right? So there's quite a lot of foot traffic. And also that's the way the fishermen who don't actually have property on the ocean, how they get to their boats, because there's docking of boats out there. So it's quite a bit of foot traffic. So I just said, when we visited, just go ahead and we'll pay someone to clear it out because it was just full of weeds. And I wanted to build a wall alongside the barangay property and our property because it gets a lot of foot traffic. There's like this little right of way there. And that's how people who don't come down the main way will get through the back way to the Barangay Halls. There's this like little trail. So I don't want to block that off for the people, even though legally I guess I could have tried to block it off since it's our property, but we didn't want to upset anybody. So we left a meter, just 1 meter wide. And I said, let's build a wall down there for our privacy. Plus, I don't want people throwing garbage and stuff into our property. The other 2 sides, the back and the opposite side, kind of have walls, but they're just not really well built and they're damaged and falling apart. But people don't walk those, so this one doesn't walk. So I said, let's do that. And we paid the extra money to have more higher quality materials used. And since we're not there, her mother has been sending videos of the progress of the wall. So let's just watch this. It's about 5 minutes, so go ahead and watch this. And I'm thinking about doing a little voiceover. I'll do a voiceover over the video so I can explain what's going on. Okay, so here's the piece of property. You can see that they've cleared off some of the land and they're storing the supplies. And they, of course, built themselves a little shelter, the workers. And there's the re-rod for the base. This is a pretty serious wall. And that's the forms for the side. And of course, this is the re-rod for the posts itself. And there's the structure for the workers. More of the same. You can see that wall there. That's the opposite wall. You can see it's kind of cheesy, falling apart, wasn't really well built. There's the back, there's kind of a partial wall. And that is the Barangay Hall. There's bleachers behind there. And then of course you can see the re-rod for the post going in and the 1 meter walkway. And there's one finished post. It's loaded with re-rod, and like I said, we spent the extra money on the higher quality concrete and the higher quality concrete blocks. So, and there's some more re-rod forms. Now this wall should be about, give or take, 90 feet. It's around 30 meters deep, our property. I'm not there, so I'm just going to take their word for it. You can see the post, and they go quite deep. They're doing a really good job. They go quite deep for the base and the posts. And when you see they start the block in between the post, they go quite deep to start the first row. It's a pretty narrow lot. You can see that White House back there. That's the other property. So it's only 10 meters wide, but it's 30 meters. You can see at the back there, that's, like I said, the bleachers to the Barangay Hall, and right there's the ocean on the other side of that. So with the people walking down the access will have a wall on each side. The partial wall from the barangay, and ours is going to be a full wall. Of course, she sent me the videos in different aspects, so that's why the size of the video is changing. Some were up and down, and some were vertical, and some are horizontal. There's the first row of block, and this one here's already started. Now, it should be done this week. It's not completed 100%, but it's very close. And I'll tell you the cost of this is the one wall that we're building. So if you ever wonder how much it costs, when you see these type of walls up in the Philippines, how much do they cost? Well, they're not cheap. It's a lot cheaper to have it done there than it would here, but so far, for all the materials, the re-rod, the hollow block, the sand, the cement, and the labor, I think we're probably into it for about 1,000 USD or 50,000 pesos. Now, this is quite a long, 30 meter long, so almost 100 feet long. So if you were building that walls of a house, this would be ample. This is a long wall. We're not going to have it stuccoed finished for now. And there you have it. It's almost done. We should be sending the last payment of labor payment to pay for the workers this week. And I said I think that should bring us up to about $1,000. And now I'm going to talk about what are we going to do with this property. When this video ends here, we're going to talk about our plans for the property. Yeah, I'll just talk about it now. So originally we were just going to leave a spot towards the back for a little Bayakubu or some little place that we could stay when we come to visit the family. Maybe a geodesic dome or an expandable house like Tom and Ruth have. Just something small that we can stay at. And the front portion of the property was going to be a little like Sari store for her family. But there's been quite a lot of interest since the constructions began. A lot of the locals are asking if they can rent space here, if we're going to build buildings that they can rent space. Since it is a busy area. I ran out of video to voiceover, so I'll just do it like this. So a lot of the locals were asking, since it is a busy street and there's a lot of people walking by, there's been a lot of interest and people asking if we were going to have space for them to rent for maybe some of their little businesses. And that wasn't my plan at first, but the Sari store had kind of evolved into a Sari store with a little restaurant, like more like a Carindaria. And if you're familiar with that, it's just there's no menus, it's just whatever you have available to eat, but nice, with a little sitting area with some chairs and some tables, and you come up and get stuff off the Carindaria, and of course then there'll be a Sari store for other things that you need. And so that's getting bigger and bigger, this little shop that we were going to build. And then of course a big thing in that area is fishing supplies, nets and hooks and ice and all these things for the fishermen. So I said, well, we'll make it a little bit bigger and we'll have a section for fishing supplies. And well, Ina has this idea of having nice evening gowns and formal dresses to rent. Over there, they can't afford to buy these dresses, but there's always a big function. There's always a wedding or a graduation or a birthday or something. And people there will rent, and they'll pay up to 1,000 pesos to rent a dress for a night. So Ina has been purchasing really nice dresses on sale, like at Macy's and things like that when they have their closeouts. So she always wanted to have like a little clothes rental boutique. So now there's that. So, and then if these other people were looking for places to rent, we might just take up that whole space with just a little commerce area. So we're not 100% sure, but that's what it's evolved into. We'll see. I don't want to spend too much money on this. This was just supposed to help out her family, so they wouldn't have to rely on us for money. I'd get them started in a little business, maybe shell out, maybe between us, Ina and I. Ina works and she pays for half of this. $4,000 or $5,000 we'd invest into it, and then it would long run save us money because they would be self-sufficient. We wouldn't have to shell out money ourselves. So anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments, how far we should go with this. Should we just stay with the Little Carinderias and Sari Sari store, or should maybe we open it up for more a bigger area, maybe with overhead doors, like almost like a little market, so people could rent space and sell stuff daily or maybe on weekends? I don't know. It's kind of overwhelming at the moment. So I'd like to hear what you guys think in the comments. So anyway, until the next video, stay cool, stay calm, stay classy.